I'll get inside later to patronize you guys.
Soho! Not for sale! MOCA! 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 MOCA!
Resisting the tides of racism. I've got other voices resisting the tides of racism. Stay out here, talk to people here, don't go in. And see these exhibits here. That's the real resistance. Wake up, MOCA. Wake up, buddy. What's going on, Bill?
Guy came out, gave us a little bit of a hard time.
It's an interesting mask.
Oh, do I have it right side up?
That's right.
Yes, you do. Sends interesting message.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
A friend of mine says, basically, if you only make money when you're awake, you're in the working class. And so this is for like the people who make money when they're asleep. Tax them.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's what's going on here is that with the healthcare workers, you know, it's like the state and all these people agree, oh, we don't have enough money to pay the healthcare workers 24 hours. But it's only because they don't want to tax the very wealthy.
I see.
You know, just even, so they're having people work 24 hours. They get paid for 13. I mean, have you been here? Have you been?
No, I was kind of, a little bit surprised if you could fill me in.
Walking by?
Pretty much, yeah.
It's related to. There's a guy on the board of trustees at this museum who's also on the board of trustees of an organization called the Chinese American Planning Council. He does a lot of social service work. He's also a landlord and a banker in Chinatown, and he's
The owner of this museum, you mean?
he's on the board.
Board, I got it. Okay, One of, okay, got
So
it.
he's also one of the biggest landlords and bankers in China, private bankers in China. And he's closed, like, he wouldn't negotiate for one restaurant and they had to close down. He was the biggest and the only unionized restaurant. And so the issue is with the other place that he's on the board of, the Chinese American Planning Council, they have home care workers. They require them to work 24-hour shifts. But the state labor department, not law, but the labor department says they only have to pay them for 13 hours. So they're getting minimum wage in the first place, but they're there for 24 hours, but they only get paid for 13. The assumption is, they sleep for 8 hours.
How's that possible?
The assumption is they sleep for 8 hours and they eat, drink, and shit for the other 3, basically. You know. So if you've ever known anyone who needed 24-hour care, people wake up in the middle of the night, so the caretaker has to wake up, go take care of them. So the issue is that the agency will not figure out a way to just do 12-hour shifts where they can just get paid. Because they say it's too expensive, we can't afford it. And all these politicians say it's too expensive, we can't afford it. And we're saying, so we're going to screw the people who are making minimum wage because we don't want to add a 0.5% tax on rich people.
I see.
You know?
Or just pay them.
Or just so...
But I'm always, honestly, I kind of always confused about this kind of message, tax the rich. First of all, where did you draw the line? I mean, who is rich? I mean, I came from USSR originally. I mean, I'll tell you that. And
you came from where?
USSR.
Okay.
So I lived in USSR. They had the same message, equality and stuff like that. Rich people are bad, bourgeoisie are bad.
Yeah, keep going.
We're not talking about. I'm sorry. You're right.
No, but and that's why when you talk about the rich, I mean, coming to America. See, let's say, I lived in the USSR. Anyone, you would be rich for me. I mean, really, you would be rich for me compared.
I'm sorry, you want to just hold on to
I can't open it.
Oh.
I'm so sorry.
No worries.
I left my phone home.
That's never a good thing.
What am I, in 1980?
Hold on a second. I'm sorry. Let me just turn the battery and stay off.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, honey. Sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah, I understand what you said. Right.
So So when I lived in the USSR, any American, to me was like a rich person. We like there was forget the name, Hammer, I think there was a guy, I think Hammer was the last name of the guy, who was on the hunger strike in front of the White House. And we saw him, it's like the guy was on hunger strike, the guy was poor, and me, from the eyes of the Soviet citizen, would go like, wait a minute, he's wearing jeans. Jeans is an unattainable commodity. How can he be poor? Oh, he's wearing Nike sneakers. Oh my God, we don't know what the Nike sneakers are. And then he's on hunger strike for like a month and then another month, and he doesn't get any thinner. You know what I mean? So when you say rich, I mean, coming to America, I'm still trying to come to terms. It's like, what's the definition of rich? What is rich in America?
The way, and I was sort of joking, but I mean it. We're not talking about people, but let me just backtrack and say
Sure.
that at least for me, I'm not opposed to people being wealthy.
Okay.
I'm not opposed to people, making more money than other people. So, but there are people who just are getting so much money that they don't need, that they're not using. So there's a difference between rich and filthy, stinking rich.
But then again, in terms, I mean, $1 million, is it filthy rich, is it stinky, or 2 million, or 10 million? That's kind of in my mind. I mean, where do you do the line? Because it's
also about exploitation. Like the people here are being exploited, right? They're being exploited, like 24-hour working.
Well, it's a little bit different. I understand. It's kind of different issue. But I mean, you're wearing a mask, and it says tax the rich.
My point is, we're not going to fix this kind of exploitation, or we're not going to be able to provide some kind of residence for everyone. We don't want people living in the street, because that's why we end up having street people. We have to get the money from somewhere. So and basically, the rich have all their needs taken care of and over. The wealthy, the very wealthy.
Okay. Yeah.
Listen, I was a teacher. My wife and I did very well. I understand that.
Are you rich?
I would say I'm affluent. Yes.
Affluent. Okay.
And you know what though? I'll say I would easily give up 20% of that if everyone gave up 20% to make things right in this country. I would have no trouble with that.
But as far as statistics, and I like statistics. I mean, I went to college in the USSR, and I mean, statistics is everything, obviously. So based on the statistics that I know, 1% of the richest American pay 40% of all the taxes. 40%. I mean, do you want them to pay 50%, 60%, 100%?
No, see, that's what, what I'm saying.
I'm getting statistics wrong, my man.
The rules are that they would be taxed that much, but many of them pay nothing because there's so many loopholes. So if you just say the tax rate for people making this much money would be 40%. Actually, I pay 40% in New York City or I did when I was working. I'm retired now. When it was between federal, city, and state, it was 40%. But the problem is that the rich people have so many loopholes that even though officially the tax rate is 40%, many of them pay nothing. Nothing.
So the statistics is wrong then?
No, it's not. Are you looking at the statistics of what people actually pay, or if you're looking at what the rules are that they would pay?
Well, it's
Mark Twain, American writer, had a great saying.
Yeah, I love Mark Twain.
Okay,
so very popular in the USSR, by the way.
There are three kinds of lies: lies, damn lies, and statistics.
Right.
So when you say if the statistics is 40%, I want to know exactly what they were looking at, because the reality is that most rich people do not pay 40% of their income.
But on the other end, again, speaking of the statistics, 50% of Americans pay absolutely nothing in taxes.
No,
that's not true.
That's a lie.
That's a lie. Okay.
50% of Americans may not pay an income tax.
Okay.
But if they work, they pay a payroll tax. They get Social Security taken out. They get Medicare taken out. Everything they buy, sale tax, which is the most regressive thing, they get taken out. So when someone like Mitt Romney's son says 50% of Americans don't pay tax, he's talking about
he said 47
income
to be
tax.
exact.
What?
I remember the number. It was 47.
Right. He is saying income tax.
I see.
But because the incomes are so low that no, they don't tax them, but they still get charged for Medicare, Social Security, and all that kind of stuff. So,
I see.
So So that's a statistic, like I said, lies,
got
damn
it.
lies, and statistics.
I got it.
It's accurate. It's accurate in a very narrow place of federal
He also
context.
oversimplifies the problems, so people focus on this one statistic, and then everything else like kind of falls to the wayside.
I see.
And they move on. You
But
know?
let me ask
But
you-
sure.
We are responding here to like people losing their homes. You know, this is, and it's not only the Asian community. I mean, the reason I'm here is they come into your homes and they like punish you. They like cut the wall, cut the pipes, cut the water off. You know, it's clear
see.
criminal activity. You know what I
I
mean?
see.
That get people,
And
move people out.
so it's all this extraneous stuff and the massive, like, you know, luxury development. It's the commodification of everything with value. You know, like people in the community built the community up. They opened businesses. Like you heard them talk about the dumpling shop, $3.
Yeah.
You know, they worked. You know, they worked in their own shop. You know, making the food. And created this wonderful community, safe community. Now the luxury developers come in and they suck all the value out and basically get rid of all the people that have lived here so long. You know.
I see. You're going to ask my question?
The problems are bigger. Yeah,
I'm
go ahead,
sorry?
You're going to ask me a question or something?
What do you mean? I'm sorry.
No, you're going to ask me a question, no?
Oh yeah, so I was going to say no. That's because that's really it is important, and I guess I was going to ask that. So, which republic were you from when you said you're from the USSR?
Well, I would say that I lived most of my adult life in Moscow and Moscow region.
Okay, because my wife had been in some of the more eastern ones. She did some work in Kazakhstan.
I was born near
Uzbekistan.
Vladivostok. I mean,
okay.
I'm almost Japanese. When people ask me, where I was born, I say I'm almost Japanese. I was so much closer to Japan than it was to Moscow. Much closer.
So anyway, so you said like your all your friends and colleagues say, you know, this guy, right? Even the poor is wealthy. I mean, looks good, right? So I was in Turkey once. I was talking to some engineers in Turkey, and I mentioned poor people in the United States. Because what do you mean poor people in the United States? I said, well, we have like people living in the street, and he couldn't believe it because we are really the wealthiest country in the world, and yet we won't share enough to keep people off the street, healthy. We have plenty of money to do all that stuff.
But-
we have plenty of money.
Yeah, but look, our mayor, I don't know if you voted for this guy, de Blasio.
The
No?
first time, the second time,
I
he's
see.
a bum. I think he's a bum.
But look, I mean, it's an issue, right? I understand the homelessness and stuff. So he put them up in luxury hotels. Okay, we the taxpayers were footing this bill. I mean,
yeah, I don't think that's a smart idea. No.
yeah, but what's the solution? I mean, in my mind, I think that I mean, look, we have some issues. I mean, some have issues with their kidneys, some have issues with the heart, or other issues. Unfortunately, there are the people that have issues with their heads. I mean, it's a medical issue, right?
Yes.
So instead of kind of throwing the money at the problem, I think that the way to solve this problem is...
Please. Okay, well, why don't you go to... We're having a chat, but there's people who are like... Well, we'll have to talk to you about what's going on.
They can walk around.
Yeah.
So...
Sorry, I'll be... Oh, okay.
You're taller than me.
No, you're...
I mean, and at some point we just close these psychiatric clinics and stuff like that. I mean, to me, that would be a solution. I mean, if you were to spend money on solving this issue, that's the way to go. What do you think about that?
I actually... What we were talking about before, and this, about 40 years ago, there used to be a lot of things they called SROs, single room occupancy hotels. They were pretty inexpensive because that was the times. And there were people who were like either economically,
disadvantaged
low or mentally ill, but they weren't so mentally ill that they couldn't function in a small apartment, bathroom down the hall. They might have a hot plate to cook on, but a lot of people lived there. But as real estate got more expensive, all those places became co-ops. So all those people ended up on the street. You're right. We should have some kind of housing, maybe supervised to some degree.
That's right.
But
Talk to him, don't talk to me.
no,
It's his interview. You're telling his interview.
no, it was not an interview. We're just chatting.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I don't think it's on. Is that on?
I'm not sure. Cannot see. Whatever.
You're asking about mental health providing mental health.
Right.
And the thing is, if people don't have a place to go home to at night. There's no.
And that's the problem.
There's food, clothing, shelter, probably
Right.
next to the mental health.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But I mean, another issue again, coming from USSR, is we talked about equality in USSR, and and we would like, and that's the issue that you touched upon. So, I mean, what would be the most equitable society? You say tax the rich. Do you think that taxing the rich will make it more equitable society?